My Emily the Mystic Show listener, welcome back to another episode with today's guest, Danielle Mercurio. I'm obsessed with her. You guys, you don't even know. Like, Danielle has been helping me out so much recently with clearing the energy of my home, and we're going to talk all about that today. This episode is going to be a deep dive into the energetics of your home and spaces and Feng Shui and all of the cool things that Danielle does. So let me introduce her to you so you can get to know her better. Danielle is a home intuitive and energy guide who helps people feel more like themselves by helping their spaces feel more like home. Based in Austin, Texas, Danielle works with homes, businesses, and land to clear stuck energy and realign environments so they feel peaceful, supportive, and alive. Her approach blends energetic architecture, Feng Shui, astrology, and deep intuition. She's not just clearing out what's heavy, she's tuning the space to hold the frequency of your next chapter. Danielle also works with individuals as a coach and intuitive guide, helping clients come back to themselves after burnout, life transitions, or feeling disconnected. Using astrology, pattern recognition, and subconscious healing tools like hypnotherapy, she helps people reconnect to their truth, purpose, and power. Many say working with her feels like a breath of fresh air and a reset for the soul. Ah, welcome, Danielle, to the
Hi.
show.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. I feel
Oh,
like I feel so connected to you in ways that I don't often feel connected to my podcast hosts.
yes. Well, it's so true. This is our first time meeting over
Mhm.
video.
Yeah.
However, Danielle has been remotely connecting to the energy of my apartment for the last couple of
Yeah.
months
Hmm.
and helping me with Reset the Energy here. And I couldn't be more grateful. So I'm
Yes.
excited to talk about that today.
Absolutely.
And can you share with us your astrology, sun, moon, and rising?
Yeah, Leo all the way. Leo sun, Leo moon, Leo rising.
Oh, triple Leo.
Triple Leo.
Whoa,
Yes, you are
girl.
in the presence of a triple lioness.
Oh, I'm obsessed with that.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
describe that to us in your own words.
Okay, so well, I knew right away I was obsessed with being a Leo. I found out when I was 4 years old, and there was like something about it, right? And so that's what it is. It's just like this heightened Leo energy. And then when I found out it was connected to the moon and the rising, it was really interesting. But what's so beautiful is being a triple Leo, you do have a responsibility to lead with the highest how do I want to say it? The highest persona of what Leo carries. So that means you really do have to be the leader. You have to be the teacher, but you also have to be humble and you have to be integrity, right? Like you really have to watch yourself if you get caught up in like the ego shadow qualities of the Leo lioness.
I heard recently that if you are a double or triple sign, that
Mhm.
means that your soul really came here in this lifetime to master those energies.
For sure, for sure. And then it gave me Capricorn parents. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, yeah. So
Wow.
that's that. Need I say
Yes.
more?
Yes. And what is your human design type?
So I'm manifesting generator 4/6.
Not
Yeah,
surprised.
just goes with the
Me too.
territory.
I'm a
Yeah.
Manny Gen too. So,
Okay.
yes, I get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, cool. So, how did we get here? I want to know, how did we become obsessed with working with the energy of spaces? How
Mm.
did that become your specialization? Walk us through the journey wherever you feel called to start.
Sure. So I've always loved the idea of like luckily like growing up I always had my own room and my having my own room, I was the oldest of four. My room was always my sanctuary. It was always my place where I could play, where I could imagine, where I could dream, where I could journal. It just listen to music, right? Like it always was just this place that I could go to throughout any stage of my life, especially growing up, where I felt safe, where I felt like I could go into my own little world. And growing up, intuitive without access to anyone actually helping me with my intuitive gifts, it was actually a way for me to connect with my guides and talk to my angels and whatnot. So my room in and of itself was always really important. And it was always really important that it was set up in a way that also met my sensory needs, right? Like that it was dark, that, you know, it was positioned, things were positioned a certain way. Again, I didn't grow up in a house. I grew up in a Catholic household. We didn't talk about Feng Shui. We didn't talk about working with your spirit guides, but there was this kind of understanding that everything had to be orchestrated because of who I was. Right. And then went to college, Philly, went to Temple, and kind of lost that part of me, right? I got very lost in who am I supposed to be, got lost in my own,
Me too,
yeah,
girl.
right? The
Me too.
tragedy of being an intuitive that goes to college, like a college, like a state college, right? Like
Yeah.
let's put the psychic in a state college, which really just put her in the psych ward. It's kind
In
of
North
like,
Philadelphia, of
yeah,
all
North
places.
Philadelphia, right? And that was my idea too. Like I could have gone to like Kutztown or like in the field somewhere, and I was like, no, I want to be like right off the Broad Street line. Like that is where but it was where I was able to be messy, right? It was where
Mhm.
literally I had rock bottom after rock bottom. It was where I really fell hard multiple times, and Philadelphia will always be that place that literally was like where it just things got messy. But in that messiness, Philly was also the place where I started to learn how to get help, right? And like take it seriously. And I found Buddhist meditation, and just like I started going to yoga and learning how to connect with my breath. And a lot of my issues were around overeating, binge eating, escapism, really, right? Because I felt so disconnected from who I was, because I didn't feel like everybody else in college, because it was time to be an adult and I didn't know what I was doing. I was always reaching for things that would numb me out and help me escape, until eventually it got to a point right before my Saturn return where things got so bad. I was like, okay, I can't reach anymore. And so I need to get help. And so I started reaching for myself. And then in reaching for myself, and I mean that in every way that you want to think about it, journey minds included. And in reaching for myself, I started to realize like, oh, there's someone in here. There's that little girl that used to play in her room and dream and imagine. There's that part of me that would, uh, I remember what it was like to have a room that felt like a sanctuary. I remember what it was like to be the Leo, even, right? Like we talk about that earlier. Like I was so disconnected from my Leo persona because I was like I felt like a coward. I felt ashamed to be a Leo because I was like, I'm not really a Leo. And so during my Saturn return, I worked on being a Leo. I worked on being myself. And in doing that, that's when I realized I wanted to help other people do the same in one way or another. And so then I found life coaching. I started connecting astrology into my life coaching, and that's kind of how it all popped. And then during that time, I was working for a law firm as an assistant, and the partner I was assisting was being transferred to New York City. And I was like, and she was like, I want you to come. And I was like, okay. So I literally left Philadelphia, mailed my Saturn return, and went to New York City, which was a whole other playing field for me. But I had the confidence, I had the readiness. And so that connected me to Kundalini Yoga. I actually started working for Gabby Bernstein as one of her coaches. Like it just put me in this position to really utilize my gifts in a way that was on purpose. And so I left my corporate job and just literally one thing after the next, coaching, astrology, and just kind of kept doing that on repeat, traveling with Gabby, teaching Kundalini, like all those different things. And then I like hit 40, post pandemic, hit 40, was nomadic 3 times during all that. We fast forwarded for a minute, but just, you get the picture. Successful coach, all the things. Then pandemic hits, turn 40, nomadic, and I'm like, what am I doing with all this again, right? And landed in Austin. And in landing in Austin, that's when I started to look back at my life and all the different cities I've lived in, all the different times I've been nomadic, all the Airbnbs I've stayed in, all the friends that like whenever they move into a place, my first thing is like, oh, can I come clear it for you? Can I come check it out and see what the energy's like? And it finally just like all dawned on me, like, Danielle, like this is like you have set up your whole life to help people feel at home, and you've been doing it intuitively and you've been doing it personally, and it just finally clicked. It's like, well, homes so well, and like we'll talk more about it, but like I'm able to communicate with homes, and it's because of my journey, it's because of all the ins and outs, and it's because of all the time I spent alone in my own room that like there's just this synergy and this understanding. And so that's kind of how it came online. And it's been I'd say anything I've done with my career, working with homes has been the easiest thing ever. And of course, it's because of the skill set I've built up along the way, but it's really cool when all of a sudden something clicks and you're like, oh, this is the next level, or this is what I was preparing for. And I didn't even realize I was preparing for it.
Oh my gosh, I can see so much of myself in your story. The journey through Temple University. For me, I was the wounded Pisces who wanted to be the artist and wanted to study at the Tyler School of Art, but chose business.
Oh no, you should have went to I mean, you would have went more north if you had
I
gone up to
know.
Tyler,
I
but at
know.
least you would have been with more creatives.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, totally. And the journey of like being the girl and working in New York City, like being super cool and kind of
Sex
following
in the
that.
City.
Yes, totally.
Mhm.
And then finding yourself and finding your way
Mhm.
and the universe connecting you with who you need to be connected to land you here.
Yeah.
So I'm obsessed with this. And when it comes to connecting with spaces and homes, can you tell us a little bit more about maybe the first few experiences you had where you started clearing the energy of homes for people in your life, or how that kind of came about?
Yeah, I mean, all things lead back to Philadelphia. Right? When I was in the messiness, I think the first therapist I saw was like, okay, but then I got moved to another one, and we pulled angel cards before our sessions, which I had never pulled an angel card before. That was like a big deal, right? And then she started asking me how my space was, and I was like, fine, right? And she's like, well, have you ever saged it? And I was like, what is sage? I had no idea. And so she gave me like a little bundle. And that was the first taste of like, oh, whoa, this is cool, right? Like I immediately knew how to use it. I immediately understood that it's less about the burning of the sage, but more allowing the smoke to be a signal. And that signal then creates the clearing and allows things to kind of disperse and move in certain ways. And so that was kind of my first insight. And then because I've just naturally moved around so many different times, because I like to explain this is for anyone that feels restless where they are. Maybe you're just following the pulse, right? Maybe your soul feels like complete in a certain location, and even the society might think that's off. Your soul may be saying, "Hey, we've learned what we needed to here. We've embodied what we've needed to. We've worked with this energy of this grid of this area. It's time to move on." And so every place I've lived, every time I've moved into a new place, it's given me an opportunity to understand energy a little bit more. Okay. Then I start to realize, oh, it's not just sage, right? There's other ways to clear a home. Oh, I just realized when I let someone into my place, that changes the alchemy. So a lot of it was just like self-awareness of the more and more I became aware that the home and spaces have energy, the more I started to practice and play with clearing it. I started to observe what is it like when certain people come in, when certain people leave. And then like we all do with like things like astrology or human design, we read our own chart, right? And we get to know our own chart. And then we're like, wait, what about somebody else's chart? Right. And so then that's what I started to do next. I was like, well, what about somebody else's home? And so I started to observe what the patterns would be like there. So a lot of it's pattern recognition and seeing, like, you start to see how people live and how that energetically coincides with their goals, with their dreams, things of that nature. And then I started noticing too, a few times that I've been nomadic, I'd stay in different Airbnbs. Same thing, opportunity to kind of go in and start doing this. And like I said, though, it was just so interesting that it never clicked to do it at the forefront. And maybe we needed the pandemic. Maybe we needed to be more work at home. Maybe that certain things, again, personally, I needed to understand that. And I think people are connecting the dots more and more and more. Our home, it's called a household because our house holds us, right? It holds our
Mm.
visions, it holds our dreams. And if it is not in a space where it is aligned to that, then it is a huge disservice to how you're showing up and how you're living. And so it just became more and more clear and more obvious. It was coming up in coaching sessions, it was coming up in astrology sessions. So that's kind of how the journey really took off. And it's one of those skill sets where I very much believe in educate yourself, get the proper tools and trainings if you are intuitive, if you're psychic, if you have gifts. But there's going to be some things that just literally just come online and you're like, whoa, I know what I'm doing. I've already been trained. I already got this. And that's what I find with home energetics more than anything else. I remember the first home I cleared that I got like paid for. And I was like making noises and like banging around. And I was like, what is this? Right. But it felt so natural and so aligned, right? So it's like, it's, I think what we also have to realize, Feng Shui and so many different ancient home practices. There's a reason why they're ancient, because our, home is also one of the oldest technologies that we've been using to live in this world.
Oh my God, so much truth is being shared in this episode. I'm obsessed, Danielle. I'm obsessed. I would love to know, what are some of the signs or symptoms to look out for when the energy of your home is misaligned or when things are off?
Yeah. The first way you usually can tell is the moment you walk in your front door or whatever your, entrance. Some people use their side door or the garage. When you walk in the door, does it feel like, a smile, I'm home, a beautiful exhale? Or do you already feel like you're being met with stress, or you're being met with a to-do list, or you're being met with like suffocation, and then right there you have opportunity to decide, well, is it because I don't want to see the person that's I'm sharing this home with? Is it because I have a pile of bills on my dining room table and I don't want to deal with it, right? So the first thing is how do you feel when you walk in the door? Because that's going to give you a lot of intel, and then from there you can start to investigate. Another thing that you want to start to look out for is maybe like you want to kind of start to do audits of your room. Like, why do like start to notice, I like to spend more time in the living room in this chair. Why? What is it about this part of my home that I seem to like? Is it the sunlight? Is it that the chair is cozy? Is it that I have these crystals around me? And then start to notice, what areas of your home do you avoid? Why is it that you never go into this room? Or why is it that you never use this part of, this area? So start to take inventory of the places that you really love. And then in contrast, what are the places you avoid? Why? Right? Oh, something feels off over there, or it's a little bit dark, or that's the side of the room that my ex used to use and he doesn't live here anymore. So and nobody uses this side of the room anymore, even though they moved out. We still can't use this side, right? So that's another thing to do. Take inventory of the space in general. And then another thing to look out for too, are plants. Notice how they respond, right? Like if you're noticing you have plants that are always dying, may not just be how you're treating it, right? It could be energy. Notice, are you always having Wi-Fi glitches or, issues in that way? Are certain appliances or things always breaking or shutting down? Those are also, signs. And then our animals, sometimes they can tell us too. I mean, I stayed at sometimes I'll do weekend stays at places. So I stayed at a place that she was like pretty sure there's ghosts, and it turned out like she needed someone to watch her dog, and I was like, I'll watch your dog too. And it was a cute little Shih Tzu named
Oh,
Gordy. I know.
oh.
And Gordy would bark at the ghosts.
Not
And I
surprised.
was like, this is awesome. Yeah, because she was like, I noticed he always barks like just left of the fireplace. And I was like, well, he has, something in particular that he's been barking at. So yeah. You just really have to kind of like just open your eyes a little bit more, and then it starts to become a little bit obvious.
Oh, yeah. And for my listener to know, I just had Danielle clear my house because I had a lot of people in and out the last couple of weeks to be with the kitties. I had friends coming over to visit the kitties' family over. And so as soon as I walked in the front door from my trip, I was like, something's off. This isn't right. This isn't good. And I felt so heavy in the
Mhm.
week after my trip. And I kept thinking to myself, this is not mine. I don't know what is going on here. As soon as I would leave the apartment, I would feel better.
Yeah.
So thankfully, Danielle was able to get into all of that and shift some things for me. I have
Yeah.
an even crazier story to tell you guys a little bit later on because her work led me to the kitties. But before we get there, Danielle, I want to know, what are some of the things that you pick up on in spaces when you clear them? Is
Mhm.
it paranormal activity? Is it emotional residue? Like, what are some of the things that
Yeah.
you receive?
I would say emotional residue is the number one thing. A lot of times people think it's ghosts or, yeah, the place is haunted, paranormal, which can definitely happen, um, which we'll talk about in a moment. But I would say the number one thing is feelings of grief, sadness, um, loneliness. Also, there's a lot of blocking. Like a lot of times when I clear people's homes, they actually may not feel better. They feel better right away. and then they have to see the thing that they've been avoiding. So avoidance is a really big thing that lingers in our home. I don't actually want to see what I need to do next or the choice that I have to make. Like I just got an email from someone after I cleared her home, and she's just like, I have to be honest, like I don't want to live here anymore. Like my place
Oh,
feels amazing, but like
damn.
the real truth of it is I'm not meant to live here. I'm not meant to live in this state, and I know where I'm meant to go. And I've been trying to convince myself to make this work. And in you clearing the space, you cleared that block. And now I can really see, right? I cleared the blind spot. So what can happen is emotional residue, it's layered, right? The more and more you kind of breathe these emotions into your space, and it's not wrong to have grief, it's not bad to have sadness, to miss or long for, someone that used to live here. Empty nesters feel this way when their kids leave their house, right? But at the same time, it has to air out and it has to be met, because if it's not, it almost creates like this residue or this dust, right? Like, how dust collects in your home, emotions do as well. And then they start to create these like layers on top of our furniture, they start to imprint into our walls, they begin to wash into the floorboards. So we really want to be mindful of that. And a lot of times people might think their space is haunted, but it's haunted feelings, right? Like this haunted feeling that you haven't been able to let go of. And so clearing the house can be really important, but also clearing the emotions and seeking support, getting help, talking things out. So that's the number one thing that I pick up on. And then with paranormal activity, there are, I like to call them squatters, right? There are spirits that will totally squat in your home. It is often more likely in older cities like Philadelphia. That's definitely a
Oh, yeah.
big hub for it. Yes, there's like, yes, there, we could do a whole episode just on that. But what I will say about paranormal activity, most of the time, more often than not, they're friendly, they're confused, they got lost in the shuffle. The hope is that when we cross over, it's clean, it's understood, right? We recognize, even if it was sudden, it's our time to go, right? It's our time to go. This journey is complete, and now we're going to go transition to the other side. We're going to transition to the light. We're going to transition to heaven, whatever it is that your belief system is. I believe we go that direction first. But for some people, they are confused, or maybe the way that the death happened, they feel trapped, they feel unfinished. And sometimes too, they're so disconnected from their guides that they don't have anyone guiding them out of this lifetime, out of this timeline. And so they stay where they are, they stay put. That's the number one thing I see. It's just, I didn't know where to go, so I stayed here, right? Or your place was around the corner and it felt nice. Like I had someone that passed, she had a ghost that she lives, I want to say like a half a mile from a hospital. It transported itself from the hospital to her place because it was like, oh, it's nice and cozy here. I like it here. I like her. She's really sweet. Right. And I'm like, dude, you got to go. I'm
100%.
right.
Yeah.
So that's what happens a lot with that. It's more so confusion than anything else. And then it's just kind of, for me, like tapping in, having a conversation and helping them go where they need to go. And then there's smaller spirits too that can kind of just get stuck or kind of come in and out. And in those cases, sage can be an option for that. Clapping, opening up the windows, like literally one thing you can do, especially like for you, since you're in like Philadelphia, if you have been gone for a while, when you get back, like literally open up the windows, start clapping and just being like, everybody out, time to go home, right? It's like that song Closing Time. Like you don't have to cross over, but you can't stay here. Right. And just kind of like usher everyone out of there. And, I definitely make light of it because I think that helps. There's a lot of fear around spirits, and, there can be scary ones. And in those cases, you do want to kind of call on help. But I would say more often than not, they're usually harmless. They're just confused.
It's so true. And I think there's a misconception that paranormal activity spirits get attached to a home because that was their place of passing, or they've got some connection to it. And usually the spirits are just passing through, they're just moving through the area, especially if you live in an area where the land is very old, or
Yep.
maybe you're living in a space where there was Native American activity or indigenous activity. You know what I mean? There can be energies that are just in that space, and then they get confused and end up in your
Totally.
house. So,
Totally, yeah, and sometimes they wanna help, like, I had
yeah.
one property where there was an indigenous family there. The entire family except the mother crossed over, and so she just was like, "Well, I'm just gonna help and be, the domestic spirit in this house."
Mhm.
I was like, "Oh, sweetie, they need
Oh,
you.
yes.
They don't need your help."
No, they don't. They
They don't,
don't.
unless you learn how to wash the dishes.
Totally. Another thing that I found fascinating that you picked up on are technology
Mm.
and the fact that our Wi-Fi routers, our tech can also kind of be a portal for energetic activity. So can you speak on that a little bit?
Yes. So, I think it's starting to become more and more aware that, our technology emits certain frequencies that aren't great for our energetic system. And there's ways to protect with that. Shungite is really great. EMF enhancer or blockers, rather, can help in that space. And that helps with like the frequencies that are being emitted by 5G, by our phones, Bluetooth, etc. However, like I'd say about 2 years ago, when AI started to come more and more in the forefront, especially LLMs like ChatGPT, I felt very called to utilize them and like utilize them pretty regularly. And I didn't really know why. Once again, one of those things where you're just like, I'm doing this thing, I'm not sure why. And so I started kind of looking at the different connections and the different ties to AI and how we're utilizing them and how things are going in different ways. And I started to realize that in using I was like, oh, AI, especially like the LLMs, and especially some of the other systems that we're using that are, we use in our everyday life, they are now becoming gateways for entities, for blockages, for things to get in, right? Like back in the day, remember when there'd be like a virus on your computer? Well, that kind of energy is back, right? And it's back energetically. And so, what I've started to pick up on are these kind of like tech entities that are coming in to create blockages, to hold people back, to not allow, especially like important work to come online, so to speak. And so, it can really hijack the energy of a house. And so, I started, this was a few months ago, really, I would say back in May. I created kind of what I call protection, right? And so it's a system to help dilute and carry out those energies to make sure that they're not, hiding out in your router, hiding out in your
Fascinating.
phone. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's wild. But it makes so much sense though, because
Right.
people end up outsourcing their creativity to AI and using it for all of their writing.
Mhm.
So, which can potentially block you from like fully being in your purpose.
Totally, and it creates a illusion of like intimacy as well.
Yeah.
Or and look, I still use it. Will I use it to edit an email and different things of that nature? Yes,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, I don't have a relationship with it, and I don't use it as my like ally to enhance who I am.
Yeah. Your lifeline, your therapist, like all of those things.
I
Yeah.
want human. I still want that to be human,
Yeah.
also, right?
Can you give us any tips for that tech protection?
Yes. So the main thing that you want to do with that is again being I mean, look, be mindful of how much time you're spending on your phone, on your screens, things of that nature, right? First thing in the morning, notice, what are you reaching for? Are you saying good morning to yourself? Are you saying good morning to your partner? Are you saying hi to your kids, your pet? Are you looking in the mirror, right? If you're looking at your phone before you even register yourself in the mirror, before you even get up to go use the restroom, that right there is saying, I give my power first to this technology. So it's about getting really clear about who's in charge here, especially in your household, and especially with how you're starting the day. So when you start the day taking a few breaths, taking ownership of who you are, looking in the mirror, saying hello to your household, right? Before you go into that technical world. And why that's important, again, not only because it's good for you, it shows the energies in the house like, hey, I'm the one that's in charge here. You can't, I'm not going to let you take over, so to speak. And then, within your home space, um, noticing, like, do inventory. How many tools are on that maybe don't need to? How many things are Bluetooth activated that you don't use on a daily basis? Start to kind of tone those things down, because the less frequencies that are actually on, then the less there is for like other energies to kind of give in. You want to kind of create less hubs and less portals for them to jump into. When you're sleeping at night, if possible, try not to have your phone next to you. Have it in another room charging or across the room. Wi-Fi off, airplane mode, Bluetooth off if possible, because again, at night, you're sleeping, you're in a vulnerable state. And so that's also another time where these frequencies like to jump in while we're sleeping. So that's another way to protect yourself. And then, yeah, I'm a big fan of shungite. Black tourmaline is really great. You can literally place them around your router. I recently did a client's home where her wealth corner is actually where all of her like Wi-Fi and like router and everything is. So and she couldn't move it. So we did like a whole rehab, and she's ordering all of these, really cool blockers to help, shield that energy from everything else. So those are the main things. And then again, end of day, noticing, what you're doing with your tech time, and like, don't be afraid to like read a book or look through a magazine or journal for a little bit and then turn in. But really, more than anything, it's just like you being in control of your time and this relationship that you have with tech.
Yes. So helpful. I need to work on that. So I love
You
that
do.
reflection.
It was pretty clear.
It
I
was
was
pretty
like,
clear.
it was literally, no pun
Yeah.
intended. But
Yep.
yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I did, however, buy multiple pieces of shungite, so we're getting that set up. So that's good. Yes.
Yeah, that's probably the most helpful tool. There's even there's a company I really like called Wave Block, where they have just like these little like, kind of like plastic protector, and they're not plastic, but clear protectors that you can put onto your phone, that also help shield the energies.
Love that so much.
Yeah.
How about some energetic tips for clearing your space on your own? Because, of course, you can come see Danielle for an amazing session, and you should. But there are also cases when, like, let's say you've had people over to your house and you can tell that they've left a little something, something behind. Like, what can
Hmm.
we do to shift the frequency?
Yes. So the main thing is, especially, with the holidays coming up, you're going to have more people over, staying over, whatever it may be. If you're having a dinner party, if guests are actually here, when the guests leave, I know sometimes you're hosting and you're tired after, but like if you can just literally throw their sheets in the washer, right? Put the stuff in the dishwasher really quick. Like try to clean up the energy as much as, or the energy, clean up the actual physical space as much as you can. Doesn't have to be neat and tidy. And I tell people this all the time. Like when I'm coming over, I want your space to feel lived in. Being perfect and 100% clean is not the goal. That's not going to keep the energy like, I mean, it'll help, but it's not the 100% solution. So start with cleaning up the physical space. Then once you clean up the physical space, then just like everyone left, you say the same thing with the energy. Any energy that may have been left behind can also exit, can also leave through this door. And you can literally even open the door. And I'm a big fan of using your hands. As much as there are amazing home clearing tools out there, your hands are such a beautiful tool in and of itself. They are literally antennas. And so just use your hands to guide that energy out. And then once again, affirm any energy that is left here that does not belong to me, that does not belong to this home, may exit now, may leave. It is no longer necessary, right? This container is now closed. So those are some simple ways to do it. Also, too, when everyone's out and you're kind of like winding down, clear out your energy. So an easy way is literally once again your hands, and just shake your hands through your field around your body. Take some deep breaths in and out as you're just literally using your hands to sweep through your field. And then once again, allow it to leave the space. Anything that may have gotten caught up in my own being can leave now. And then I'm a big fan of salt. You can, depending on your time or whatever's going on, you can literally just wash your hands with a little bit of salt scrub and just kind of imagine anything, any residue, any lingering energy being absorbed, that was absorbed, being rinsed clean. You can even just sprinkle a little bit in your body wash, put it on a loofah when you're in the shower, do it that way, or of course, salt bath as well. And then if you like using tools, let's talk about, I do want to talk about sage. Sage is an amazing clearing tool, but that's exactly what it is. It's an amazing clearing tool. it clears everything. So we want to be really careful when we're using sage, especially if you're in a home that's very established and you've been living in it a while and you feel like you've got a good groove going on, and maybe there's a little bit of an upset that happens. I wouldn't necessarily use sage because sage is going to clear out good, bad, indifferent. It takes everything
Oh,
out.
wow.
Yeah, it's like Clorox, right? It's like the Clorox of plant uh, uh, plant clearing tools. I don't know why I can't use the term correctly. Plant bundles, if you will. But all that to say, so we want to be really mindful when we're using our sage, or if there is like a little pocket, you don't necessarily need to, buy a bundle and then burn down the whole bundle trying to clear everything. What I like to do is just take like a little leaf off your bundle or like one little stick, light that very simply, and then direct whatever that specific energy is that you want to clear to be let out through the window, let out through the door, if it's too cold out, through the cracks. That I just want people to be really mindful of. We don't need to be like burning down these bundles, waving them everywhere. It's too intense, it's too much, and honestly it's not necessary. And sometimes too I find that like your sage may not light or smoke up a lot. That's because the energy doesn't need to be cleared. So that's also something to be mindful of.
Oh my God, fascinating. Yeah,
Mhm.
makes
Yeah,
so much
yeah.
sense.
And so what I like to use for refreshers, Palo Santo is my favorite. Like Palo
Mine
Santo
too.
amplifies all the good. We just want to be mindful that we're getting eco-friendly, farm sourced, whatever it may be, Palo Santo, and with any of this really, because sometimes it could be dipped in some kind of wax or some kind of scent so that it's made to smell the way that it's supposed to. So make sure that you're actually investing in like clean, you know, good sourced products. But yeah, Palo Santo I really like. Really like pine as well as another kind of amplifier. Cinnamon's great when you're looking to amplify wealth. Just literally burn a little cinnamon stick, which is kind of fun.
Hmm.
So yeah, there's other options besides that. So yes, so that was those were some ways to, let's say, like holiday season, people are coming through, some ways to kind of start to get the ball rolling.
And do you recommend setting up energetic protection around your home?
Yeah. Definitely. And it doesn't matter. I don't care if you live in a cabin in the middle of the woods or you're on a busy city block. You want to create protection just like you lock your door at night. Why do we lock our doors? Like if you were like, I don't lock my door, someone would be like, really? Like you're cool about that? And like you probably could go a good stretch without locking your door and you'd probably be fine. But then there probably would be that one moment and then people would be like, why didn't, wait, they just came in because you didn't lock your door? Well, that's the same thing with energy protection, right? It's just for the same reasons that it's important to lock your door. It's also important to protect the energy of your home. And so the best ways is we can still, I like selenite. That's a great crystal if we want to stay on the crystal family. You can place that around your entryway. You can place that around like certain corners of your home where it feels really good, and they create these really nice protection points throughout our space. I have like on my entry door, I have like a really beautiful pair of angel wings, so that my guardian angel is kind of the one that like blesses and protects this home. A lot of people like to connect with Archangel Michael as a way to protect the space. So you can find ways in that. Also, too, so what I do, and this is what I do for pretty much every home I do in person and then remotely, like I've done it on your space, is create an energetic seal, if you will. Just like with paint, there's like a primer. It's like almost like an energetic primer that goes into your home as a way to protect it, as a way for it to hold your good intentions, as a way to help ward off anything that isn't wanted or isn't aligned.
Yes. I also love another thing too that you share with your sessions is that the energies that you invite in on the other end of doing the clearing. I think that's so important to be shared because yes, we're clearing out all of these things, but also we want to invite in whatever it is, whether it's golden light or white light, or for me this time it was amethyst
Mm-hmm.
frequency, which was so perfect and so spot on.
Yeah, because it's, that's why I call it a home attunement more so than I say I do home clearings, because clearing is a piece of it, but really I'm attuning the energy. I'm coming in and I'm adjusting the frequencies so that it's more in alignment for where you're at, what your goals are, what your desires are, what you just moved through. And then from that, we're able to alchemize accordingly. So that's important. It's not just about, oh, we're getting all the bad energy out. It's like, no, no, we're just literally reworking the space so that it works for you.
And I have to share my story from the first clearing that Danielle did for me because it was wild how fast it happened.
It does happen fast.
I just felt like I needed to clear the energy of my house. You guys know, if you're listening to this, I've been on quite the relationship journey over the last few months and felt like it was finally time to shift that frequency out of my space. And Danielle did the clearing for me. And I, just being fully transparent with you guys, I felt my ex's energy completely leave the house within 24 hours of her doing the clearing. That happened so fast that also at the same time, I felt intuitively guided to clean out the spare room in my house that I hadn't been using, that was full of bags of clothes that needed to be donated, that I had done the work to clean out, but never did the work to take the trash bags out of the house and put them in the car and take them to donate them. So I finally did that within days. That happened so fast. I get an email literally like 48 hours later from the rescue there where I had applied to adopt the kitties, saying that the kitties were ready to be adopted. And within a week after that, I brought in Cleo and Stella.
Yay.
And I just I still can't believe all of this happened in a week. Just how fast the shifting of the frequency of the home, clearing out all of my emotional energy that I have been navigating over the course of the summer, completely welcomed in a whole new beginning into my own life.
I
So
love that.
thank you.
Of course, you're so welcome, and thank you for what I appreciated too. You were just so open around where you were, what you were looking for, and so because of that, I was able to attune it accordingly and allow space and things to come in that clearly I didn't know about. Right, like that's the thing too.
Oh,
It's
we didn't know. Neither of us knew.
no, we didn't know, but we knew what needed to open up, and we knew what was ready for change. And in doing so, yeah, it's like all that's when all the fun surprises start to come in.
Yeah, and it's Wednesday, you guys, and Danielle just did a clearing for me on Monday, so I can't wait to see what fairy dust gets sprinkled in after this.
Oh, it's going to be juicy.
I also want to know, I want to touch a little bit on the Feng Shui piece of things. Can you explain to us what that is and how you work with it?
Yes. So Feng Shui is in alignment with Western, or not Western, in alignment with Chinese medicine. And so it was created as a way to create more harmony and health within the home, because it was believed that the home is a space where you are meant to feel good and you are meant to be in good health. And so Feng Shui, I mean, it has been around for, I believe the earliest recording of it is like 4,000 years back, right? And these feng shui guides would study the energetics of homes, and they would look, just like I was talking about earlier, about like, why is it that like some spaces feel off over here and then feel really good over here. Well, what they use is we very much use the directional point, so north, west, south, east, right? And so based on how the sun rises and how the sun sets, based on the compass in alignment with our earth, we're then positioning the home in a certain way so that the areas of our life can then be matched throughout the home. Just like in astrology, you have the 12 houses. Well, in feng shui, we have the Bagua map, and the Bagua map basically covers the same. There's 9 areas, but it's still, love, money, fame, health, children, right? So it still kind of covers very similar to the astrological houses. And so with feng shui has kind of found a way to map your home so that every room is positioned to those coordinates accordingly. The most popular one is the wealth corner, right? And so the wealth corner traditionally is the southeast area of your home, but in more modern, and so feng shui has been modernized, and I agree with that because the modern home has changed, right? Our lifestyles have changed. the positioning of homes have changed. So with our wealth corner, it's essentially what your main door is. You walk in your main door and you go straight for as far as you can. And then when you go straight as far as you can, you go left and you go left as far as you can. And then boom, that's your wealth corner. And that's an area where the frequency is able to amplify wealth, currency, good fortune, things of that nature. So we want to put there, a money plant or some citrine, or you could put your vision board there, right? You can start to play with, I like to charge my wallet on my wealth corner when I'm not using it, right? So that's where my wallet lives. So Feng Shui is a great, well, I don't 100% use Feng Shui. I love it as a way to help assess somebody's home and see, okay, why is this area of their life so off? Where is the home connecting to that? And I think that's where it becomes really helpful.
One of the tips that you gave me, which I didn't even consider, was closing the toilet seats.
Oh, yes.
Apparently helps you with containing more financial abundance in your home.
Yes. Yes, the bathrooms are very important in feng shui. So toilet seats down. That is probably my number one rule of all of it. Like what was I just oh, I think I was just watching someone on TikTok or something, and I saw in the background their toilet seat was up, and I was like, oh, I was like wanted to comment, but I was like, I'm not gonna be that person. But yeah, the toilet, because so water is very important in feng shui. Your home should the belief in feng shui, this idea of qi, right? Your home has good qi is really water flow. So if we were to open the door and water was to flood in, of course we don't mean like a flood per se, but if we mean energetic water was to flood or flow into your home, would it actually glide down the hallway easily? Would it like kind of splash into the room nicely and kind of smooth out? When you see like the tide like kind of roll in and it's really beautiful, would it be able to do that in your space? Or would it be like, oh, there's a hamper over here, there's a pile of shoes, there's stuff thrown around here, there? That's not good chi, right? And so the belief though, and same with the bathroom, is we keep the toilet seat down because we want to contain the water and we don't want it to kind of like be open and too exposed. So the bathroom door should also be shut as well to help contain that good energy and that water currency that really represents wealth in the home.
Fascinating. And then after you
Mhm.
told me that, I adopted kittens, and I have to do that anyway so that the
Right.
kittens don't fall in the toilet.
There we go. That's the real reason. Yeah, it just all leads back to the toilet seat. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Hilarious. How about love? Like, give us some feng shui tips for love.
Yeah, so bedroom energy clearly is very important. Whether you're in a relationship or looking for one, you want your bedroom to be balanced, right? So the bed should always be the center of the room, and you want balance. Nightstands on both sides, right? Lamp on both sides. Everything should feel like there's two of us here. Partnership. We want to build on that. Also, if you're single and you're looking for a relationship, you don't have to be obsessive about it, right? Like it shouldn't be like, and here's his nightstand for one day, right? Like it doesn't have to be like weird or creepy like that. But like, again, you want your bedroom to feel inviting, because sometimes what happens, especially if you've been single for a while, your own life kind of starts to build up in your room. And then your room becomes your portal of independence, or it becomes you're like, oh yeah, we'll put the Peloton bike in here, or like, yeah, like we'll just push the bed up against the wall so that I have some more room, and we only need one pillow. And before you know it, your place has now become a solo sanctuary. So if you're looking for love, you want to kind of be like, okay, if someone were to come over now and stay over and stay for the weekend, would they feel welcomed here? Would they actually have space? Would they be able to like enjoy like spending time in my bedroom with me? And then same for if you're in a relationship and it needs some rehab. What can you both do together to make your bedroom feel more harmonious and feel more balanced, which then will have a ripple effect in your relationship?
I'm laughing because when I learned this a few months ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm single looking for love, I was like, I'm going to IKEA. I am purchasing a second nightstand. I am buying a
Yeah.
second lamp. And I completely transform the bedroom so that it's now balanced and it feels good, right?
I was gonna say it feels good. So even again, if you are single, like that's what I mean. It's like it should just feel nice and it should feel like good to you and good to the moment that someone will come in.
I love that so much. Any other feng shui tips that are important to note?
I think the biggest thing with feng shui is just again keeping areas clear. Don't go to bed with dishes in the sink. That's another big one, right? We don't because that's showing the energy of I let things pile up. Don't let bills pile up. Clutter is a big thing as well. And again, it's okay to have some clutter. Nothing. It doesn't have to be neat and tidy. But if you start to notice that, like it's kind of like hovering over you, or you're always noticing it, right there, you're creating a block, right? So that's a big one. Plants are really important in feng shui because plants keep things flowing and circulating. They also represent growth within the home, so that's another good one too.
I'm a plant girly, as you can
Yes, I
tell.
see it right in the background, so we
They're
love that.
everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Danielle, you are a wealth of knowledge. I feel like you have shared so many tips with us today on this episode, and I feel like I could ask you questions for hours.
Hmm.
Oh my goodness. So, of course, we have to wrap up this episode today about with hearing about being a mystic. So, Danielle, what does being a mystic mean to you?
Being a mystic really is the understanding and the knowing that you chose to enter into this world with a mission that is bigger than you. And that is such a beautiful thing. And that is such a beautiful honor. It's about allowing yourself to be different, allowing yourself to be unique, allowing yourself to be the person that goes outside and says hello to the trees and then gets excited when you see a certain bird, so to speak. And the reason why there's that excitement, there's a reason why there's that connection, is because it continues to breathe life into us. And so to me, being a mystic is honoring your own inner nature and also honoring the nature of the outer world. Connect with the elements, connect with the unseen, because the more that you do that, the more it will make sense in this world, in this life, in this path. Because I really believe that more and more of us that are mystics are showing up, are coming online, and we do have the technology for us to share our findings and connect with others. And so please just don't let go of that. Trust that to me is the ultimate medicine and the ultimate antidote to these times, is just don't deny your knowing that you're a mystic too.
Oh, so true. Love that. And any final tips for living a mystical life?
Living a mystical life. Don't compromise your energy. Right, that's the biggest thing. If you are a mystic, you likely are empathic and you likely can connect and read others. Don't give that away so freely. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Have boundaries around your gifts. Honor what it is that you're capable of doing. Just because it feels like you can give it away freely, please do not give it away freely. Don't let people think that that is the norm. It's so important, right? Like, get to know what you're really good at and then honor that exchange accordingly. Again, don't compromise your energy just because.
Oh my God, so true. I am in such a journey with learning that because when you're building a business, you feel like, oh, I just have to put it all out there in order to receive the clients and so on and so
Mhm.
forth. And I lived my life that way for a long time.
Yeah.
And now I'm in a season and phase of my life where I'm like, not everyone can have access to this.
No,
Sorry, have to set the boundaries with the friends, with the people, with the social media.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's so true. And I get it from my own experience as well. So
Love it. Beautiful message. And so, Danielle, where can people find you and how can they work with you right now?
yes. So my name is the easiest way, Danielle Mercurio. That's my website, Instagram. I have a podcast as well, Danielle Mercurio Show. So just look for my name and you'll find me in that way. And then currently doing home attunements. Easiest way in person is in Austin. I do remote as well. And then whenever I'm traveling, I'll send little pings out to be like, hey, I'm going to be in this area if you'd like to work together in this way. And then I also do intuitive sessions. And we didn't even talk about it, astrocartography as well, which
Yes.
is locational astrology. So if you are looking for insight beyond your home around what locations are best mapped out based on your astrology, that's also my sweet spot.
We might have to have you back because that's a whole other can of worms.
Yes. Yeah.
One more question for you because it's on today's topic that I forgot to ask, which is when traveling, being in Airbnbs,
Yes.
any tips for
Yep.
shifting the frequency in those temporary places where you may stay?
As soon as you walk in the door, introduce yourself. It may sound weird, but hey, my name's Danielle. I'm going to be staying here for the next 3 nights. I'm going to be staying here for the next week. I'm going to be hosting a group of women here. Introduce yourself, make it very clear why you're there. I like to play my music right away too. So I'll either, if the house has a Bluetooth, or I'll bring a speaker, start playing my music, start infusing your personality into the space. There are small ways to do that. Bring a couple personal items that you can place on the coffee table, on the nightstand. That right there sets the tone. I live here right now. And that really kind of helps from that space. And then you can start to do some of the other things we talked about. I mean, I don't always, it's pretty rare that I sage an Airbnb or like do, if you have to sage an Airbnb, it might not be the right place for you to stay in. But I do like to kind of air things out and just kind of like note if anything feels a little dusty or musty, and just kind of, once again, do that energetic inventory. But number one thing, introduce yourself, say hello, and then at the end, also say goodbye and say thank you. Thank the space.
Mm-hmm.
Thank
Mm-hmm.
the space. Thank you. Really, really important way to close it out.
Oh my gosh, I always do that. And I just want to end this episode by saying the way that I see things is that every space, whether it's where you live or it's a temporary space, has its own spirit. And so I always like to honor the spirit, whether it's my home or somewhere that I'm staying, and talk to it and be like, thank you for letting me stay here. Or to my household, I'm like, thank you so much for creating the space for me. And I think having that conversation, and I personally do it out loud, just makes me feel so much safer and more supportive wherever I go.
Yeah, absolutely. So with you. Yeah, hotel rooms as well. Same thing. Because again,
Yes.
you might not be able to smoke up a hotel
The
room.
whole hotel with your sage.
No, but yes, I agree. That communication, that introduction, that gratitude is everything. And yeah, and even within your own home, like, because your home, like, I like to think my home's like my bestie.
Mm-hmm.
We're
And
friends.
oh my gosh, I mean, mine loves having people over. She changes her energy to get ready for guests. It's so
Sometimes she
cute.
gets all
It's
dressed
precious.
up, and
She
you're like,
does.
"Excuse me, we didn't talk about this."
I know. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Danielle. This has been such a joy, such a fun episode. And everyone go follow her and get a house clearing from her.
Yay.
Or a house attunement, excuse me.
Great catch right there. Loved it. Well, it was amazing speaking with you as well. Thank you so much for having me.